Magandang araw sa inyong mga bata. Muling ihanda ang inyong mga tenga, itikom ang bibig at makinig ng mabuti. Sa nakaraang module, ating nalaman na normal lamang sa bawat isa ang pagkakaroon ng iba't ibang reaksyon at nararamdaman sa mga sitwasyong ating nararanasan, tulad na lamang ng pandemyang COVID-19 sa kasalukuyan. Ngayon naman ay ating tatalakayin ang ikalawang module na may pamagat na Module 2 on PFA, Calming Down and Controlling One's Emotion. Paano nga ba natin mapapanatiling kalmado ang ating sarili sa kasalukuyang ating nararanasan? Paano nga ba natin makokontrol ang ating nararamdaman? Halina at tuklasin natin sa pamamagitan ng mga gawain sa module na ito. For this activity, we need to prepare the following materials. Paper, pwede po ang bond paper, notebook, long pad, or yellow pad. Pen or ball pen. Ball o kahit na anong bola na tumatalbog. Para sa ating unang gawain, tawagin natin itong Recall Your Feelings. Last time, I asked you to identify your feelings and reactions to COVID-19 disaster. Can you recall what those feelings were? Ano nga ba yung nararamdaman nyo o naramdaman nyo during the COVID-19? So after recalling, I want you to write down some of those feelings in one column of your paper. When you feel this way, what do you usually do to help manage or get rid of that feeling? So ano ba yung ginagawa nyo kapag nararamdaman nyo yung ganong pakiramdam? Okay, so write those actions down right beside each feeling. So those actions that you write help make you feel better. Now, I want you to consider some ways to help you manage your feelings of stress and anxiety. So meron tayong mga paraan, paano nga ba natin ma-handle o mamamanage yung nararamdaman natin, yung pagiging stress at balisa, lalo na ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya. So let's do this activity. So we have 3 suggestions that we need to do. First suggestion, count backwards o bumilang ng pabaliktad. So if you feel that you are getting more upset or stressed or anxious or nervous, you can ask to be excused or you can just close your eyes or turn around and just silently count backwards from 10 until 1. While doing so, focus on your breathing and tell yourself to calm down. For suggestion number 2, it is entitled 3, 2, 1 Senses Check. In this method, I want you to quietly name 3 things you can see around you, 2 things you can feel, and 1 thing that you can hear. So, 3 bagay na nakikita mo sa iyong paligid, 2 bagay na iyong nadarama, at 1 bagay na iyong naririnig. So, while doing that, breathe in and out 5 times. But every time you do so, you add 1 more second to each inhale and another 1 more second to each exhale. Suggestion that we need to do, the suggestion number 3 entitled Reframe. This means that a feeling usually comes from a thought and we can change or replace a thought. Then we can change how we feel. For example, I feel angry because my mother called me lazy. I think my mother called me that way because she does not see me working hard or maybe because she is just really unfair all the time. I can reframe that by saying, my mother is just very stressed and tired tonight. She does not mean what she says. By reframing the thought, I have changed the way I feel about the situation. In reframing, negative thought will turn into positive. So, hindi mo iisipin na masama ang intensyon niya o ang sinabi niya. Isang malaking tulong ito upang mapagaan ang iyong nararamdaman. Our next activity is entitled The 3 C's of Feelings and Thoughts. I want you to stay outdoors and play catch the ball with your sibling or friend. If it is not possible for you to do this with someone, you can also just throw the ball towards a wall then catch it. After throwing and catching the ball for a while, think, what am I catching? Imagine that what you are catching are feelings. Isipin natin na ang ating bolang sinalo ay ang ating nararamdaman. Those were some of the feelings you caught during the lockdown pandemic disaster. Ito yung naramdaman natin sa panahon ng pandemya. They are feelings of fear, boredom, anxiety, and many more. Ang pakiramdam ng pagkatakot, pagkabagot, at pagiging balisa at marami pang iba. Stop playing for a moment. You accepted the ball. Hold it. Look at it. Accept the feeling. Say to yourself, yes, I was feeling afraid. Or yes, I was feeling anxious. Tumigil muna ng panandalian sa paglalaro. Tanggapin mo ang bola. Hawakan mo ito. Tignan mo ito. Tanggapin mo ang iyong nararamdaman. Sabihin mo sa iyong sarili, oo, natakot ako. Oo, naging balisa ako. Masarap sa pakiramdam na mailabas ang iyong nararamdaman. Para naman sa ikalawang C, ito ay tatawagin nating catching your feelings. It is always good to catch what you are feeling. It is a normal and valid feeling. It's okay to not feel okay. But they are real and true only as the not so normal situation that triggers it. It is okay to not feel okay in a not so okay situation like the pandemic or any disaster. Parang ang gulo, di ba? Pero simple lang yan. Normal lang sa bawat isa sa atin na makaramdam ng ganito. Ngunit ito ay nangyayari lamang sa mga sitwasyong hindi natin inaasahan, katulad na lamang ng nararanasan nating pandemya sa ngayon. So now, I want to invite you to do some diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe in o yung paglanghap ng hangin paloob, a very slight pause before you exhale. Breathe out o yung paghinga ng palabas, pagkatapos ay ulit-ulitin lamang ang proseso. Sa ikatlong C ng ating gawain, ito ay tatawagin nating check your feelings. Were those feelings helpful to me? Sa tingin mo, nakatulong ba ang iyong naramdaman sa iyong sarili? You will probably answer with both a yes and a no. Pwedeng oo, pwede din namang hindi. That means that some of your feelings were helpful but others were not. For instance, if you keep feeling fearful, do you need to stay in fear for long? How helpful is fear to you? How accurate or appropriate is the feeling of anxiety now? How helpful is it to always be worrying about things? Isipin mong mabuti. Kung ikaw ay mananatiling may takot, sa tingin mo matutulungan ka nito? Dapat bang sa ganitong panahon ay mabalisa ka? Gaano nga ba kalaki ang naitutulong sa iyo ng pag-alaala sa lahat ng bagay? Habang nag-iisip, gawin ang breathe in and breathe out exercise ng 5 beses. Mag-isip ng mabuti at huwag mong hayaang maapektuhan ka ng iyong nararamdaman. Last but not the least in C activity, it is entitled Change That Feeling. In this part, I want you to think of something else to help you feel better. Ano nga ba yung mga bagay na nakakatulong sa inyo para gumaan ang inyong pakiramdam? This means that you can replace that feeling. Some feelings are productive and useful, while some may be unproductive and useless. So bakit nga ba ganun? It is because they are no longer appropriate to the situation. You have the power to change your feelings by actually changing your thoughts about the feeling. Ang tawag dito or the process is called reframing. Now, I have questions. Where do you think the feeling's coming from? Or where is the ball coming from? Why did it hit you? How do you manage your feelings? Saan ka nga ba humuhugot ng iyong nararamdaman? Bakit tinatamaan ka nito? Paano mo nga ba pamamahalaan ang mga ito? You can manage it by changing the name of the ball into feelings of gratefulness, understanding, happiness, and contentment. I want you to breathe in and breathe out 5 times. How do you feel? Aside from different activities that we do, here are some alternative activities that can also help us feel better. There are other breathing exercises, the yoga poses, Tai Chi with humor injected into it, or the Chinese breathing exercises, engaging in sport but in a non-competitive manner, or dance move using both slow and fast beats. In our next activity, I want you to get a pen and a paper and answer the following questions. What do you feel? What do you think was the point of this activity? What was the reason why you had to refrain your thoughts? Here are the questions for the online learners. Can you compare how you feel right now with how you felt before we started with the relaxation activity? On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, rate your level of stress before and after we started with the exercise. Did the level change? Para naman sa modular learner, maghanda muli ng isang papel upang sagutan ang mga katanungan na inyong makikita sa inyong module. Here are the questions. Can you compare how you feel right now with how you felt before we started with the activity? Do you see some changes? Are the feelings positive? What are these new changes in the way you feel at the moment? Use the columns below labeled with the words before on one side and after on the other side. Under the word before, write your feelings during the pandemic and disaster. Under the word after, write your feelings at this very moment after going through the catch, check, and change exercise. So this is the pattern that you will use that you will encounter in your module. For online learners, I want to know how can you apply your newfound knowledge to your daily life? Paano mo nga ba magagamit ang iyong natutunan sa pang-araw-araw nating buhay? Magagamit mo ba ito o wala lang to para sa'yo? Para naman sa mga modular learners, muling sagutan ang inyong module. Narito ang mga katanungan at mga pangungusap na dapat ninyong kumpletuhin. How can you apply your newfound knowledge to your daily life? After going through the activity, I learned that the feelings that I caught could be. Next, after a while, I checked the feelings and realized that I could. And last, and so I changed my feelings into the following. Before we end up this module, I want you to remember this note to self thought. The next time when I experience intense feelings, I would take a deep breath 5 times to calm down, and then change the feelings by reframing my thought. Hoping this thought will help you feel better. For our online closing, I have here a trivia. Do you know that people who do yoga close the sessions by saying namaste? What is namaste? Namaste is a word which means bow to you. People in India used to say hello or bid each other goodbye. Can you think of a short phrase that you can share with the class to show our appreciation about being with them during online classes? What would be a good phrase or word? So the possible answers are thank you, kamusta, good vibes, and many, many more. And now, for our modular learner closing, always remember, emotions can be caught like in a ball. Check on helpfulness or usefulness and accuracy and change. Always remember that this is the end of Module 2 and I am leaving a words to ponder. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Jan Kabat-san. Hindi mo mapipigilan ang iyong nararamdaman, pero pwede mo naman itong kontrolin.